Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday and happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing the whole song, but guys, it's Savannah's birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday on Friday, actually.
Yeah.
After this episode comes out.
Yeah, so it's the birthday episode.
Yeah, so if you want to go on social media and wish me happy birthday, I won't be mad about it.
Please go wish her happy birthday.
Yeah. So, also it was my little sister's 13th birthday.
Aw, Adriana.
This past weekend.
Shout out to her. She was our first guest star, first and only.
Yeah.
Other than Dina, star on this podcast. She was on the Little Legends episode, so go listen to that. And happy birthday to Adriana.
Yep. And also because of her birthday, like my brother was home from UNCG and actually gave him some of my stickers, my podcast stickers. So if any of you are listening from UNCG, my brother's the one who put them around the campus.
Shout out. So. Nice. I went to the beach this weekend and put some stickers on some parking signs. So hopefully that's not against the law. And if it is, I did not do that.
Right.
Somebody must have just put in some stickers up. I don't know. So if you're in Wrightsville Beach and see some stickers,
shout out.
Okay. Also, please go rate and review us on Apple Podcast as per usual.
Yes.
Okay. Also, probably most importantly, forget your birthday. Guys, we just saw Harry Styles.
Yes. Oh my God. It was amazing.
It was honestly the best night of my life. It was so amazing. I'm in full depression right now.
I know.
That we're like not there. I'm like completely broke, but I'm like, can I scrounge up enough money to go to another one of his shows?
Right. Like I'm thinking about it too.
I'm thinking so hard about it. The tickets are so expensive because I think everybody has this same idea. So if anybody has any Harry tickets that they want to give me, I would gladly accept them.
Right. Me too. No, it was so fun. The concert went by so fast.
Oh my God.
I don't know if it's just because I haven't been to a concert in a long time, just because of COVID and everything.
I think it was probably a mixture of just that and like we were having so much fun.
Yeah.
Just everything. Yeah. I felt like I blinked and it was over and it was just, it was so fun. The fashion, amazing. Guys, we all looked so good.
Oh, and I wanted to mention, so me and Taylor weren't sitting together. Like I sat with my sister, right?
Yeah.
And she and Taylor and Dina were together. But when at one point I had went to the bathroom and I came back to my seat and I ended up tripping and falling onto the people in front of me. So that was a good time.
That was a good time. That was a really good time.
And also to mention that like this person that I fell on during the opener, we were all sitting down, and I guess I kicked her seat by accident and she turned around and yelled at me for kicking her seat and then I fell on her. So it was really, we had a great relationship.
That's really bad. We were like friends with the people beside us. So that's really sad that happened. Wow. Yeah, the people, wow, that's really actually sad that you had a bad relationship to the people around you. Me and Dina made friends with ours and we each like gave each other a photo shoot on the steps. It was fun.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry if you're not interested in Harry Styles concerts, but it's probably the most important thing in my life right now. So.
Right, yeah.
Also, go follow us on our personal TikToks because we made some TikToks at the concert and they're very funny.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, last but certainly not least, I wanted to share that in my adult news, I bought a new couch today and I'm excited.
Yay.
It's so boring, but guys, I have just such a raggedy couch that is literally, it's so old and so used that like the bottom has fallen out of it. So like when you sit on it, you go immediately to the floor. And that sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. You can ask Savannah.
So. Yeah, it's kind of bad.
So I'm really excited. And it's going to get delivered tomorrow, I think. So I'm very excited for a new couch.
Yeah, we're moving up in the world.
Yay. I just feel so happy. But anyways, enough about us. Let's get into some Legends and mysteries and
Mm-hmm.
myths. I had to say it backwards, but
Right, right. Okay, well, mine this week, actually, I am going to connect it back to me, so,
Okay. It's always really
anyways.
about us. I mean, I
Yeah.
won't lie.
Okay, so since it's my birthday episode, I obviously had to do a
Oh,
Philly
yes.
story.
Of course.
So we're doing the Philadelphia Zoo,
Oh.
which is haunted.
Oh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I knew that it was haunted.
Yeah, see, I sort of knew. Um, I'll get into it in a little
Wait,
bit.
okay, but I just want to know, is it by animals?
I was just gonna say no, it's not by animals,
Dang it.
unfortunately.
Savannah.
I
I
know.
want animal ghost.
Yeah, I kind of wish it
Can you
was.
imagine a giraffe ghost?
No, that would be crazy.
Wild.
I don't know why whenever I think of like if I were to think of a ghost animal, I would think of like a lion.
Oh, yeah.
Probably cuz Lion King. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
You know.
Yeah.
Um so anyways, yeah, the zoo is not haunted by animals. It is like apparitions of like people.
Ah,
And
crazy.
like, I mean, I guess it could be animals because a lot of it is just like sounds of doors slamming and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Very true.
um, and yeah, so when I was starting to look into this, I was like pretty excited. I was like, oh, it might be some animals. Nope, it was like
Nope.
not mentioned at all.
Sad.
Do you think animal ghosts like are an actual thing?
I don't know, but
Actually,
yes.
no, wait, didn't you say Kiki was sort of
Yeah, I had
haunting
some
you guys?
experiences with Kiki, and also there's a haunted place in Charleston, South Carolina that has a haunted, it's like a dog ghost.
Oh.
His name's Pugin, and there's like a restaurant, Pugin's Porch, and
Mm-hmm.
like people say that they feel like a dog rubbing up on like against their legs, like while they're sitting there eating,
Mm.
but like there's not a dog there. So like yeah, I feel like maybe it's possible. I
Yeah.
mean, like I feel like if ghosts are real, why would it only be for humans?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But that's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Um, so yeah, maybe there are some animal ghosts at the zoo, but like they just haven't been seen as, you know,
Yeah,
like
true.
maybe they're just like blobs and you can't really tell
Yeah,
what it
exactly.
is. Okay, so the Philadelphia Zoo is actually the first zoo in America.
Oh, what?
And yep, and it is the oldest because, you know, it's still open obviously and it was the first one.
Yeah.
So, that's a cool fact. It was chartered in 1859 and it opened in 1874.
Whoa, that's old.
Um, yeah, it was delayed because of the Civil War.
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
so yeah, it opened like a little bit after the Civil War. So it's pretty old. Um, and it opened with exhibits containing 200 mammals, including buffalo, deer, wolves, foxes, bears, and monkeys. Which honestly, it's kind of weird to me that there's deer at a zoo,
That's so weird.
right? Like, and buffalo, like,
Right. Like, what kind of zoo is this? That is so
I
weird.
mean, I guess it's just because we expect more exotic animals, but it makes sense because these are animals that are native to,
Yeah, no,
like,
definitely.
America. So it had those types of animals, and it also had 67 bird species, 15 reptiles, and the admission was 25 cents when it first opened.
Whoa.
So,
Wow, I
pretty
would go every
cool.
day. But
Yeah,
I know 25 cents was more
I
than
know.
25
Yeah, it
cents.
definitely was worth more. I don't really know. I didn't convert it or anything,
Wait,
but
what year? I'll convert it.
1874.
Okay.
And it now has around 1,300 animals, and it is 42 acres in size.
Oh, nice. Wait, fun fact. I'm pretty sure the U.S. largest zoo is in North Carolina. Did you know that? The Asheboro
Yeah,
Zoo.
actually, I was just talking to Adriana about that.
Love
It's
that.
pretty cool.
Just had to, throw in. Shout out to North Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this zoo also had like the first zoo laboratory in 1901,
Ooh.
it's called the Penrose Building. This is one of the buildings that is haunted, so we'll get back to it. But research done here helped to like reduce disease and increase vigor and longevity in zoo animals, so it really like helped them out, like all this research that was done there.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's really cool. And they also had the first children's zoo, which was opened in 1938.
Oh.
Yep.
What is a children's zoo? What does that mean?
I'm guessing a zoo for children. Like
I didn't know if it meant like like baby animals or baby humans.
No, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I guess I didn't really look into it, but I'm pretty sure it just means like for children.
Okay, got you.
I mean, it's kind of weird though, because zoos in general seem like they're just for kids, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, but, for sure.
But back in the day, I guess they weren't really. True. It's just weird to think about, like, I don't know, because all the pictures I saw of when it first opened and stuff, it was just like adults.
Oh, what?
Walking around the zoo. Yeah, I know, and it was like adults and like these women in these long dresses and stuff and fancy attire. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just weird.
That is weird.
Okay. So it is said that the zoo was built on a Native American burial ground.
No.
Yes.
Of course it was.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like a lot of places in America get this, like, people say it's haunted because of this, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously Native Americans, people sort of, the colonists, like, wiped them out.
Literally.
I mean, so this land could have been used for anything before that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So the Lenape people were native to this land.
Okay.
Beforehand. So, shout out to them.
Shout out to them for real.
And then after that, the Penns actually had this land. So, the founder of Pennsylvania and Philadelphia was William Penn.
Okay.
And his grandson, John Penn, he lived on this land for a while. I think it was like family land, so it probably was William Penn's to begin with, and then it got passed down.
Mm-hmm.
And then after John died, he like the land got sold to become the zoo.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah,
that's crazy though.
Yeah, so it was like this historic land from the founders. And you know what else is weird? It's just like, it's kind of funny to think about. And I didn't even realize this, because I always grew up knowing that William Penn founded Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But apparently him and his whole family, like, they moved back to England.
They said, okay, we're going to, found this place, but we don't really like it, so we're going to bounce.
Right. Right. The only one who stayed was John Penn.
Wow. So, he's the real one.
Yeah, so he stayed, and then he died in America, and yeah.
Wow.
So he's the only one, literally. So that's cool, I guess. So let's get to the hauntedness of this place. The staff has reports partial and full-bodied apparitions, like around the zoo, mainly at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it is mainly like from staff, not really many visitors.
Yeah.
Will say that they see anything.
If I worked there and saw like what I thought was like a person, I would just think it was a person like that was just not supposed to be there. Like that had tried to like, how YouTubers like sneak into places after dark or whatever.
That's true.
That's honestly, what I would immediately think.
Yeah. I know. I don't think I would go straight for, oh, it's a ghost.
Yeah. It's a ghost at the zoo.
Yeah. I would just be like scared like it's a person.
100%.
Yeah. So stuff like apparitions and also black shadows have been seen roaming the grounds.
Ew, that's creepy.
So yeah, the way that these are described make it seem like it could be like an animal or a person.
Yeah, definitely.
Know. So I've actually stayed at this zoo overnight.
What? You stayed there overnight?
Yeah, for Girl Scouts.
Whoa. Okay, did anything happen?
I don't remember anything happening.
Savannah, why do you not remember your childhood? You don't remember anything.
No, I do remember being there, but I don't remember anything spooky happening.
Maybe something so scary happened to you that you had to block it out.
Oh my God. I don't know about that.
I hope not.
Okay. So we stayed in the Treehouse Room, which is one that I'll talk about a little bit later, but it's basically like this room for kids. It has like a fake treehouse in the middle of it, like a giant tree that is just, not a real tree, but it looks like a tree.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun when I was a kid,
Yeah.
And they have like different animals around, not real animals, but like
the lions are just roaming around us as we're sleeping.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of fake things you can play with, and there's dinosaur eggs like that you can like
Whoa.
that are big enough for a person to sit in, so you can get in there and pretend you're hatching.
I love that. I want to go here.
I know, it was so fun. No, and I think some of us actually slept in the dinosaur eggs.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah. So we did that, and I told my sister Victoria that I was talking about the zoo, and she was like, "Oh, do you remember when we went for Girl Scouts?" And she was saying that she remembers everybody talking about how it was haunted then.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I don't know if
Savannah.
she was just like more into that than me.
Or you just
I
blocked
only
it out.
remember oh my God. I do remember some things from that night, but I don't remember being scared that they were ghosts.
That's so wild. Yeah.
But she does. So I don't know. I guess back then they thought they were ghosts too. So it was really cool. I do have some pictures. I don't know if I'll be able to find them, but if I can, maybe I'll put some in.
Please try to find them.
I know. So for this, my like little research here, most of the articles I saw that said that the zoo is haunted, they led back to this episode of Ghost Hunters.
Okay.
So I had to watch the episode, of course.
Of course.
So this episode aired September 1st, 2010. And I'm sort of going to go through like what they saw when they were there.
Okay.
And like what the people said about, like all the staff said about like what was there.
Okay.
All right. So they start off sort of with like staff reporting what had happened to them, and like this guy was taking them around to different buildings. And then afterwards they investigated the night, If anybody's seen like a ghost hunter show, that's sort of how they do it every time.
Yeah.
So the first building was the Shelley administration building, and the staff reported that by one window they could see the curtains like parting, separating, and a face was looking out.
Ew. That is so scary.
I know. Like, can you imagine just like working and you look over, there's a face in the window?
No. I would not like that one bit.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
I would seriously freak out.
Yeah, so when the investigators like were there, they tried to see if they could like find a face in there, and they didn't really see anything, but they did hear doors slamming. So they had like shut the door in one room, and then they went into a different room and they heard the door shut.
Oh.
That they had already shut.
Oh no, absolutely not. This is scary because, like, I feel like a zoo would be the last place that would be haunted. And if I worked there, I would be so afraid.
Yeah. Honestly, you're right. For some reason, I just think like zoos can't be haunted.
No, like, zoos are so fun. Like, what bad thing has ever happened to you at a zoo? Well, one bad thing did happen to me at a zoo. A bird pooped on me.
Oh.
But that was the only thing. So
that happened to me at the beach once.
Apparently it's good luck though. So
yeah. True. So yeah, that happened in the administration building. That's pretty much the biggest thing that happened to the investigators. But they were like so freaked out because they said that they had latched the door and it shouldn't have opened back up, but it slammed.
Yeah, I mean, I would be pretty scared if I was there, like if I was like investigating, but I feel like that could maybe be explained.
Yeah, I know.
Potentially.
I feel like a lot of these ghost hunter shows, sometimes they hype things up, but
they definitely hype things up, and I know for a fact. So,
yeah.
I can't say much more about this, as I've already said on a previous episode, but
okay.
They definitely do.
So the next building that they looked at was the Penrose Building, which was the research lab that I talked about. So one staff member said that they were outside, like walking up to the building, and they saw a blonde woman in the window, and she had a glowing light around her.
Oh.
And then she just disappeared.
Oh.
And the lady who told this story, she's like, yeah, and then I ran away.
Yeah, me.
Like, same.
Literally me.
Right. And there's also stories that somebody has seen, somebody peeking over the corner of a hallway.
Ew.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Really creepy.
I hate that so much.
Yeah. Nothing really big happened in the show, but those stories are just like enough for me that I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, no. That's so creepy. Something like peeking around the corner? No.
Yeah. Because another thing with these ghost hunter shows is like, okay, even if it is haunted, are you really going to get evidence every time you're there?
Exactly. And you won't for sure.
So I do believe these stories from the staff, though,
Oh, definitely. People that work there every single day, like, they know the most.
Right, exactly. Okay, so there wasn't much else said about the Penrose Building, but this next one, there was a good amount. So this is the Solitude.
Okay.
Which was, like I was saying before, it was John Penn's house. So this was built in 1785. So it was older than the zoo.
Okay.
Because, it was there. It was John Penn's house before the zoo, like, bought the land, you know? So it was, like, his little country house. And they just kept it on the zoo property once everything was built. And it's actually like a historical building now, and it has furniture from the time period.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. But it's only open for special events. It's not like if you have admission to the zoo, you can just get in.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so I've never been in it. It would be cool. It seems really cool. And it's also the only remaining building in the U.S. that housed someone from the Penn family.
Oh, wow. I mean, that makes sense because they all left, but...
Right. I just still think that's so funny because I never knew that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
Abandoned.
That's so funny. They're like, yeah, actually, we don't like Pennsylvania.
Right. Oh my god. Anyways. Oh wait, actually, I want to say a little side note. I always grew up, like, thinking William Penn was, like, I don't know, just, like, thinking good of him, I guess. Just because in Philly, there's actually a statue of him. And everyone was like, oh, this has to be the tallest building in Philadelphia because he's, like, looking over the city. But obviously, like, since then, there's been bigger, taller buildings built.
Yeah.
But now, on the tallest building, I think it might be like an AT&T building, or I don't even know, some building, they have a tiny statue of him up there.
No, they don't.
Yeah, like, that's you can't see it from the street or anything, but he's up there. So it's like he's
up
watching
there watching out.
Still.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I had to add that little side note.
You did.
Okay, so back to his grandson, John Penn's house. So when the zoo was first built, this actually housed the reptiles. Ew. So that's kind of cool.
the complete opposite.
Yeah. It housed the reptiles, and then, eventually they turned it into what it is now with all the correct furniture and stuff, you know. And it has this creepy little basement storage area. It's like a tunnel.
Nope.
Yeah, they were down there in the show. It was really creepy.
Oh, I'm sure they were down there trying to make it all spooky.
I know. Yeah, definitely. So when they were down there, there's a story of a woman was down there with her daughter, and she saw like this smoky, misty white figure.
Ew.
Like going towards them.
Oh, no. I would be okay if it was going away.
Yeah. And then I guess the woman was like trying to keep her daughter like calm and stuff, but she was like, oh my God, I'm so scared.
I mean, I would be picking up my daughter and running as fast as I could, personally.
Right. No, I know. So that was like one of the staff telling that story.
So I'm assuming she got away then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
good.
Nothing
really happened, but yeah, that's just creepy. So in the basement, the investigators, they would hear like taps and knocking sounds, and they heard somebody humming a tune.
Ooh, spooky.
And somebody was down there she was by herself down there.
Why? That's my only question.
Well, it was two of them down there, and then one of them went up top to, I think they were gonna like jump up and down to see if they could hear people walking overhead.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, but she was down there by herself, and she felt something on her head, and like in the video you couldn't see anything on her head, but she like touched it and she's like, what is that?
Ew.
So creepy. She's like, yeah, I felt like somebody touched my head.
Ew, I really don't like that.
I know. And so obviously there's like a whole upstairs too, like the actual house.
Yeah.
So let's get over to that part. There is a woman, like a ghost, seen walking around in 18th century clothes.
Oh, okay. We love a ghosty.
Which I really wanted to find out more about her, right?
Yeah.
There's like nothing.
No.
It's so hard to find information. I wish I could have known like who people thought she could be, you know?
Oh, that's sad. Shout out to her.
I know. Honestly, shout out to her. There's also attic lights that will flicker on and off.
Typical horror movie.
No, yeah, definitely typical. Oh, this other thing is pretty typical too. A door was locked and they don't know how it was locked. Ooh. Because they didn't have the key.
Oh, okay. Love that.
Yeah.
Did they get it open?
I think so, because I think like, I don't really know that, I guess the investigators didn't have the key or something. I don't know. And then the people who work there do.
Oh, okay.
Or,
well, yeah, that makes complete sense. Yeah.
But it locked somehow. So creepy. And they also just heard a bunch of doors, like other doors closing and just random sounds. So that building is obviously like, it seems like the most haunted. Especially since there's a full woman just walking around.
right, in the clothes.
Yeah. And I do have one last place that they investigated, which was the Treehouse Room. The room that I slept in. So this is the kids area. And the investigators were knocking on stuff. And they were trying to get the person to knock back. So I think they were doing like a tune and they were trying to get them to do it back. Like finish it.
Yeah.
And they got an answer back almost every time.
Oh. How does that make you feel knowing that you slept in that room?
Really creeped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it was kind of hard to hear in the audio and everything, but I mean, you could kind of tell that there was a knocking coming back. I was like, oh my
creepy.
God. And that's pretty much all I had for that, except they also did listen back to some of the audio.
Yeah.
Just to see if they missed anything, and they heard, like, some people whispering.
Ew.
In some of the rooms, yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, so overall, the zoo seems kind of haunted.
The zoo's haunted.
Yeah.
The zoo seems very haunted to me.
Mm-hmm. Like, would I go back? Definitely yes. Like, it was so fun.
Now I think that we absolutely have to go to the Philly Zoo when we go. So that's a must.
And I don't know how else we would be able to stay overnight, though, because I did it for Girl Scouts.
Okay, we're going to have to adopt a child.
Right.
Or have one, but nose goes. And then make them get in Girl Scouts. And then we go.
Right. Girl Scouts in Philly.
In Philly, yes.
Yeah. Sounds like fun. Honestly,
yeah, that's the plan.
I could do it.
Yeah, Juju's writing the plan down right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you have for me, Taylor?
Okay. So, this week, dun dun dun, I'm doing The Legend of Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Have you ever heard of it?
No. And I feel like we're not as connected as we were last week.
You say that now, but wait till I finish.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm ready.
So Waverly Hills Sanatorium, I had seen like a couple YouTubers go and like explore it because this is an abandoned like big building basically.
Okay.
So Waverly Hills Sanatorium is located in Louisville, Kentucky. I think that's how you say it. Sorry if it's not.
Yeah, I feel like it is.
Mm-hmm. I want to say Louisville, but I know it's not.
I know. Louisville, I always want to say that too. We're just ignorant.
Yeah, we're dumb. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Okay, so the land that Waverly Hills sits on was originally purchased by this dude named Major Thomas Hayes. Okay. And he bought it in 1883. And the reason that he bought it was because he was just like, I need a school for my daughters to go to. So he just bought the land and built this one-roomed schoolhouse. Okay. And he literally built his family a school to go to and hired this one lady to be the teacher. And at the time, the teacher, her name was Lizzie Harris. So Miss Harris, she actually named it Waverly School because she loved Scott Waverly's novels. So I don't know who that is, but she loved his books.
She named it after her favorite author.
Yeah. Typical teacher, I feel like. So
yeah.
After that, though, the name just stuck. So it was like the Waverly School at first. And then, eventually sold the land, blah, blah, blah. History went on. And now we are in like just a little bit of time later. Thomas Hayes sells the land, and it was like, sorry, let me rewind a little bit. So at this time in history, tuberculosis was becoming an epidemic. As we all know today, similar to COVID, it was spreading like wildfire.
Yeah. Is that the one that was called consumption?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this, like, tuberculosis is the disease where it's basically an infection in your lungs to make you, like, continuously cough, like, literally coughing up a lung. Like, that phrase comes from having tuberculosis. Jeez, because you would, you would literally cough so hard that your lung would collapse.
Oh, my God.
So, like, you did not want this disease. Yeah. And people, you can still get tuberculosis today. But there's medicine and vaccines now. So we're good if we got it today, but these people, no, they were not okay. It's basically COVID for us was their tuberculosis.
Right.
But this one spread a lot faster and it was a lot deadlier because obviously we have way, way better medicine now. Mm-hmm. So on average, around 2,000 people died each year just in this small town. And that's a lot because this was a very, very small town. Mm-hmm. And every year it just like got more and more and more. So they decided to like knock the schoolhouse down and make like a little clinic for the tuberculosis patients. Okay. And so The original one could hold 140 people. Obviously, I just told you 2,000 people a year die from it at this time. So that 140 people building was not nearly enough. So they decided to make Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is this literally huge building. It's over 180 square feet long or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's huge, massive. There was like 5 stories and just huge. And they made it literally be a self-contained community. So that's like what sanatorium means. So literally it's like a city in itself, and it sits on top of a hill. So that's why it's called Waverly Hills.
I didn't even know. Okay, I feel like I've heard of a sanatorium before, but I didn't know that's what it was.
Yes, it is what it is. Like, I didn't know what it was either.
Is it more like a hospital with...
Yeah, so like the building itself is a hospital, but it's like on like a big amount of land, and there's other buildings around it. So they also have a post office, a water treatment facility. They have a huge garden where they grow their own fruits and vegetables, like, and to like eat off of in the whole year. They raise their own like cattle and meat to eat. Like literally they just like, once you got up onto the hill, you didn't go back down.
Yeah.
And that was the point, because I mean, they didn't want tuberculosis to spread, you know, so they wanted you to either be cured or die there, sadly. Not to spoil anything here, but
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
are those aren't still around, are they?
No. Like this one's abandoned.
Yeah.
I mean, because we don't really need them. Well, I mean, I say that now, but
I know.
We haven't needed them. I'll say that, at least for a while.
We're gonna go back to them.
I hope not. I'm gonna knock on some wood. Just because
I know, honestly,
I don't want to like curse us or anything. So it actually ended up opening Waverly Hills in 1912, and immediately full capacity. Like full capacity. There were 2 patients in every bedroom, and eventually once all the bedrooms were full, they had like hundreds and hundreds of beds in the halls, outside even, like there were beds. Like people were everywhere, because even this huge building wasn't big enough for how many patients they had.
This is getting a little too real.
I know, it's getting real. I know, it's really scary. And yeah, so like this, I mean, I don't know if y'all have heard, but they say like every like 20s era there is like a big thing. So this was so now it's COVID. Last time it was tuberculosis, and then before that it was like the Black Plague or something like that.
There's also the flu, right?
Yeah, the flu. Yeah. There was also
the Spanish influenza.
Yeah, and Ebola. But that wasn't the same thing. So there's a lot of diseases out there, basically, is what we're saying. But yeah, so every single person at Waverly, patients, nurses, doctors, any employee, they all had to say goodbye to everything they knew in the outside world, because once you went to Waverly Hills, you were a permanent resident, quote, on the hill, as they called it. So yeah, basically if you wanted to work here, you had to, like, you weren't seeing anybody that wasn't there ever again. You had to live there.
See, like, who would want to do that?
Well, for one, I think they paid a lot of money. 2, did they really even have a choice? Like, if they stayed in the town, they were going to get tuberculosis anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it was just their job.
If you can't leave, how are you going to spend your money anyway?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Truly, I don't know how they got people, but somehow they did.
Yeah.
But they didn't get enough. I mean, the like patient to employee ratio was just like way out of hand. You know how it is, just in every hospital. Mm-hmm. But so
I don't know if you can hear Lux barking in the background.
I can't, but she's a cutie.
She's a loud cutie.
She is a loud cutie. That's really funny. So this Waverly Hills place was used as a tuberculosis center until 1961, because that was the year that they discovered the antibiotic that treated tuberculosis, and then later the next year the vaccine came out.
Okay,
so
awesome.
Yeah, so then they were like, okay, we don't need this place anymore, because you know, you don't have to just come up here and die. You can just like take medicine and you're fine. So then after it was the tuberculosis hospital, it reopened the next year in 1962 as Woodhaven Medical Services, which was a geriatric facility. And then it was only open for like 20 years as the geriatric facility, and then it closed. And now, today, is abandoned. So people go there all the time to try to, like, you know, film YouTube videos. Like I said, the police around the place, like, don't go. Like, they offer tours. Like, and you can pay, not now because of COVID, but normally they do. So be careful if you go. But
that's crazy. I
know.
Honestly, like, do you ever watch those videos on YouTube that are like,
oh yes,
touring this abandoned building?
Those are my like favorite YouTube videos to watch.
Know. Like, I want to be brave enough to go to one day.
I would do it so easily.
I don't know. Like, I would be afraid.
I would risk getting arrested.
Yeah. I know. I'd be afraid of that. And also if like somebody was already in there.
Oh yeah, that would be my fear.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so back to this place before the abandonment. In its prime, Waverly Hills would hold over 400 patients at a time, and it was considered at that time to be the most modern and well-equipped facilities for tuberculosis. Okay. So like, that's awesome. You know, they had it going for them. However, before the antibiotics and vaccines came out, the people who stayed there endured some really barbaric treatments to try to get rid of the disease.
Of course.
And it's not even necessarily that these doctors were evil. Like, most of the stories we tell in here, like, oh, the doctor's evil and they want to torture people. These doctors, I think, genuinely just wanted to, like, fix these people and help as much as they could. And were doing what they thought would help, but it ended up just being, like, basic torture because these people were, like, past the point of help, you know?
Right.
So, in some cases, patients had their lungs partially surgically removed in order to let them, quote, rest.
I'm like,
I don't really know why they thought that was a good idea. I don't even know how it makes sense.
I guess, is tuberculosis, like, is it, I mean, it affects your lungs, but
yeah,
is it, like,
it's it's an infection.
So it's like, were they trying to remove it from the lungs? And they're like, we're just going to remove the...
But it did not work.
I mean, I guess I can get the reasoning.
Yeah, and I mean, I looked it up. And it's called a lobectomy, where you remove, just like you said, you remove the infected part of the organ. So they were really just trying to help. But, like, it didn't help. Like, I guess they didn't realize at the time, like, infections spread throughout the body. Like, it's not just in the one place.
I know, and then now they can't even breathe.
Right. Now they're really struggling. And, you know, like, at the time, like, in the 1920s, it's not like people just were easily recovering from surgeries. Like, that was a big risk to take.
That's true. I know. That's the one thing, like, if I ever got to time travel or anything back in time, like, getting surgeries and stuff. Like,
absolutely not. Like, I'm scared to get surgery. I've had surgeries, like, today, and I'm still horrified, even though, like, medicine is as good as it's been ever. So
I know. I got one when I was 5, tonsillectomy. But, I mean, I feel like since I got one when I was so young, I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that was fine. I had surgery just a couple years ago, and it was fine.
Yeah.
So, it was fine.
But
not like these surgeries.
Freaks me out. It freaks me out that they were just doing all these surgeries and most people just died from them.
Right. Okay, so let me tell you. We're lucky. Let me tell you about this next procedure.
Okay.
This next surgery that they were doing. So, probably not going to say it right, but it was called a thoracoplasty. Where the doctor would remove several rib bones from the chest wall so that the lungs wouldn't collapse. Like, so it basically, they needed more room because the lungs were like so like swollen and inflated from like trying so hard and working so hard that they would remove. It was common, very common for these patients to have at least 7 to 9 ribs be missing.
I mean, that does make sense too in my head.
Yeah.
But like, are you going to tell me why that's not correct? Like,
no,
I guess.
No. I mean, I guess it did help them a little bit, but they still died from tuberculosis, so.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Like, it's not going to solve the full problem.
Yeah,
It's just
no.
gonna help them at the time.
No,
Yeah.
but it was just super interesting. Like when these bodies were found, they were like missing like eight or so ribs, and
Right.
people were like, "Why?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we just removed them so they could breathe." Like, okay, crazy. There was another treatment called sun treatment, which theorized that if a patient bathed in the sun, it would help kill the bacteria that cause the tuberculosis. So the doctor would go in and insert a balloon into the patient's lungs and fill it with air, so that it would be like their lungs would be completely open, and they could like breathe easier and just go sit in the sun. Obviously that didn't work, but unfortunately none of these worked. None of them.
Okay, but if
So.
your lung is open but full of a balloon, like how is that gonna help you?
Well, I think like their lungs were so tired that they like the lungs wouldn't even open, like
Okay.
I guess I see where they're coming from, but it's
Yeah.
it's just it didn't matter because it didn't work anyway. So
Right.
I guess at least they tried.
Honestly, these things seem like me and you just brainstormed. Oh, what should you do to someone if they have
Right,
tuberculosis?
right.
Put something in there to open their lungs.
Yeah, like let's just move some ribs so they can have more room.
Right.
Like literally that would be our plan.
Uh-huh.
Good for us.
Oh my God.
So sadly, most people who went into Waverly, they never came out. And there was about 1 to 2 deaths per day when it first opened. And that was when it first opened.
Okay.
And then it rose exponentially. Like the numbers couldn't even be totaled. How many? Like
Jeez.
towards the end.
Per day?
Per
Can
day.
be totaled?
Oh yeah, per day. There were so many bodies to get rid of that they had to create this thing that they call the body chute, which is a special chute that is like it goes from like the surgical floor to the tunnels in the basement, and it's like at a 45-degree angle so that they could just like roll the beds with the dead bodies in it to the tunnel for the train to come pick them up every night. And they did this so that the people, like the patients who were still living, wouldn't have to see the bodies and like how many people were dying.
Oh, jeez.
Because they were like, I mean, we don't want to like take away their hope that they're not going to make it, but like so many people were dying that they made this chute to just throw the
That's
bodies
gotta
down.
be so sad for all the people working there too.
Right. Like this is just so depressing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know. So yeah, they called the tunnels the death tunnels, obviously. So that's great.
We're okay. I don't know if you know this. We're like the people working at the hospital getting this,
Getting what?
like getting
Oh yes.
tuberculosis.
Oh yes. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
They all had it. Yeah, sadly. I mean, it was almost impossible to not.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, if you entered Waverly, the odds of you ever getting out, I mean, 0 to none, basically. Which means that thousands upon thousands of people died there. And a lot of their souls still haunt the place today, apparently. Dun, dun, dun. So, Waverly Hills has actually been rated as one of the world's most haunted hospitals and I looked it up this time, by like multiple different like accredited like sites, magazines, blah, blah, blah. A lot of places. They're like, this place is haunted. AF. So, I would say it's pretty official. The most common haunting that is reported involves a little boy named Timmy. So he's a little ghost boy named Timmy. Cute. And he is often seen with a leather ball.
Oh. Okay.
And what's really sad is that he is thought to have been killed, actually, by falling off of the roof of the building.
Oh my God.
So it's like a super tall building. And why was he on the roof, you ask? Oh, so the top floor was actually the children's floor. And there was, like, so much so that there was a playground on the roof for the kids.
Oh
And,
my God. Why
yeah.
would they do that?
I don't know. Like, no safety hazards, I guess, is what they were thinking.
Who
OSHA was not a
thought
thing.
That was a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
Truly
they probably
don't know.
had no railing, no nothing.
Oh, no. There's pictures. Peep our Instagram, you'll see absolutely no railing. It's no surprise Timmy fell off.
God.
So that's really sad. So, but he's like not mean or anything, you know, he'll like roll a ball to you apparently. That's creepy. Sorry, I would still run away from Timmy. Probably.
He just wants to play.
Yeah, he just wants to play.
With him.
I would maybe play with him. It was still so creepy. But people have tried to like look into the records to see if like little Timmy can be confirmed. But no papers were ever found. But also there were so many bodies going in and out of that place. Like, and there's not just, they weren't keeping good records anyway.
Yeah.
So I believe Timmy's real.
I feel like that's a big problem with like a lot of these stories. It's like they weren't even keeping the right records.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That's why there's so many legends. Like today, like people aren't gonna like, imagine 50 years from now, like people aren't gonna have like legends podcasts because you know everything today.
That's
like
so true.
We write everything down, everything's documented, we have access to everything. Like it's crazy,
and it's harder to just get rid of the evidence too.
100%.
Because back then, like your record, you could just lose it by accident,
right? Or like set it on fire. Like, oh no, the building, all the records burned.
Right.
Not like that.
Crazy
today.
To think about.
I know it is. Another common haunting story involves room 502. So this room 502 is apparently like the most haunted room. And this is where the head nurse would live, whoever the head nurse was, you know, whenever. So in 1928, the head nurse at that time was found dead in her room. So sadly, yeah, I know. So she allegedly committed suicide by hanging. And at the time of her death, she was 29 years old, pregnant, and unmarried. So obviously she was severely depressed of how her reputation was looking, because at the time, obviously women, how could you ever be pregnant and not married? Like, oh no. So she took her own life. So that's really, really sad. But another nurse who lived in 502 right after the original nurse lived there, jumped off the top floor to her death. So this became a trend to where every single nurse that lived in that room would die in some way.
Oh my God, what?
Right. So you don't want to be in that room, really. That's really scary. So, but actually what's interesting is that second nurse who was thought to have jumped off the top, after investigation, they actually believe that she may have been pushed. But they have absolutely no idea who. They investigated, they tried to figure it out. They never did. So
it's a ghost.
Yeah, maybe it was the ghost. Maybe it was Timmy. I don't know. God.
No, it was the woman.
Yeah, maybe.
The
woman. Yeah. Woman. Sad, but yeah. So 502. That's not the place you want to be.
Oh my God! Wait, what if it was her baby?
Oh, that's so sad. I didn't even think about that. Maybe. Wait, what if Timmy is the baby?
That's kind of funny. Like,
no, I know.
Just imagining an unborn baby pushing someone out a window. That cannot happen. Okay.
Not Savannah saying that's funny.
No, but
it is.
Yeah, it's funny.
So now we're going to get to the part where this is where we have the same mind. So Ghost Adventures actually did an episode on this place.
Okay.
And of course I had to watch it, as you said.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I thought I would go over, which is just so funny that we both watched episodes of it, and well, it was 2 different shows, but you feel what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Ghost Adventures are very dramatic, as we already know.
Yeah.
But they have some good info sometimes. They have some cool stuff. So I know I mentioned Timmy. Shout out to Timmy. So the top floor, as I already said, is the children's floor. People report hearing kids playing all the time, like balls rolling around all the time, which is just so creepy. Like, I feel so bad for these kids because, I mean, it's just, their life was sad. But it makes it no less scary that they're still here rolling balls around in this abandoned building.
Right.
Like, that's so creepy. They also hear voices of children laughing and trying to whisper to you. And I'm like, just absolutely not. Like, so creepy. One thing that really stood out to me was that they said they could hear people coughing and nobody was coughing.
Oh, no.
Which I'm like,
well, that's
dang.
Definitely Like that's definitely expected though, because if
Oh,
all the
for
ghosts
sure.
had
No,
tuberculosis.
for sure expected.
That is sad though, thinking about it, because if they still are
Like
coughing
they're
as
still
ghosts,
coughing.
they still have tuberculosis as
Exactly.
ghosts.
Yeah. Like it's just sad. Like they're just
Mm-hmm.
stuck like that.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, that's sad. And so in this episode of Ghost Adventures, I also learned something that I did not find online. So there's a tour guide who like runs, there's a couple of them in the episode, but one of them specifically said he's been working there for a long time, leading tours, whatever. And he said that he was leading a tour one day and he had to go to the bathroom. So he ran to the bathroom and left. He was like, hey, tour, go look around this floor while I run to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back and they were like, wait, what are you doing? And he was like, huh? And they were like, you just told us to go downstairs. Like, what are you doing up here? And he's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, you just like lined us all up and we're about to take us downstairs. And he was like, no, I was in the bathroom. And so what he had figured out was that apparently they had seen like a ghost or something of like his doppelganger.
Oh my god.
And then after that, it happened a lot with him. This one specific man. Like this one tour guide. Like tour guide, like these tours would be like, no, we just saw you. And he was like, oh, that's not me. That's my doppelganger. And they're like, no, it's not. Like, this is so funny. He's like, no. Like, I'm not kidding. And he has never seen his doppelganger himself. But, I mean, which is a good thing because legend, like over across anywhere, say that if you see your doppelganger, it means you're about to die. Like that you will die very soon.
He's really playing with fire.
I
going
know.
back there so many times.
Right. Like, sir, you might want to leave. Like, that's where he is.
Right. Oh
also, that's
God.
so creepy. Like, imagine you're on a tour and then you find out like a ghost or a doppelganger or whatever has been leading your tour. Like when you thought,
like, oh my God.
that's horrifying. Also, if you've seen Jordan Peele's movie Us, that is really what this reminds me of. So if you know, you know. And if you don't, then you don't.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Ew, okay, this is really gross. Another thing I learned watching this is that they actually had special surgical beds where it would have like crevices in the bed that would allow them to drain all of the blood out of all of the bodies before moving them. Like down to the chute, the body chute. Because I guess why they did this is so they wouldn't have contaminated tuberculosis blood when they would like take the bodies back to bury them or whatever.
Okay.
But like the beds are so creepy. Like, and just to know how much blood that is, just it's sick.
Wait, what do you mean there was like crevices? Like they were putting blood in bags?
Like no, like they would like cut the bodies open and drain the blood out of them. And then the blood would drain onto the table and then on like into the crevices and then into a bucket on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying, it's hard to describe. But like, yeah, basically just a way to drain the blood without making a mess.
Oh my God.
Yeah, really gross. So disgusting.
See, stuff like that is why, like, I know obviously they don't do stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
But I could never be a doctor or nurse or anything like that. I can't.
Yeah, like that's
do
sick.
that.
It really is so
like
gross.
any sort of like surgical, like cutting or like stitches even and like stuff like that. It's just like freaks me out.
See, I kind of like that, but we all know I'm weird, so
yeah.
Anyways, so they also caught an EVP, which if you don't know what that is, that's an electrical voice phenomenon, because it's theorized that ghosts can like speak on different frequencies than human ears can hear. So like if you record them on a recording device, sometimes you can pick up a voice of a ghost even if you couldn't hear it like in real time.
Right.
So they caught an EVP that literally was like a girl's voice and it says, "You're not gonna make it." And it was like really clear. They had a bunch of EVPs and all the rest of them I was like, y'all are really stretching for that. But that one that said, "You're not gonna make it," first of all, it gave me the chills because like nobody did make it out of there, which is sad.
Yikes.
But also it was very clear. Like it was definitely some voice saying, "You're not going to make it." So.
That's so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't want to go there.
Well,
I was thinking, I was like, maybe I do want to go and check this out, but I don't know.
I know.
Seems
I know.
scary.
So they also got some EVPs of, and just like in general, not even EVPs, like they heard people screaming and nobody else was there.
Oh my God.
And obviously we need to take this with a grain of salt. As I said, you know, they make things dramatic. So don't know what is true and what's not true. But the fourth floor was the surgical floor, and it's known to have the most evil spirits. But most of the spirits in this place are not bad, not evil. They're just people who died there, except for on the fourth floor. Obviously this is where people were like, you know, surgically messed up. And in the episode, literally the cameraman they're like filming in there and they hear like something bang on the wall or whatever. And he's like, ow, my back, and like drops the camera. And they look at his back, and I'm talking, it's like the worst bruise. Ew, it was like disgusting. He had a huge bruise on his back and nothing hit him or anything. And apparently the tour guide was like, oh yes, the like spirits on the fourth floor in this room are like very bad. They like leave marks and bruises on people all the time. And they have no idea like who that is, why they're doing it. And they're like, okay, we're going to leave this room now. So, yeah.
That's okay. That's actually terrifying.
Oh, no, yeah. Like that's...
Like hearing
like
stuff
that.
is one thing, but then actually getting injured.
Right. Like, yeah. Like that's... I don't play with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Today, Waverly Hills Sanatorium sits abandoned, but not actually abandoned because thousands of souls are still there. So, yeah, that's the legend of Waverly Hills.
Okay, I do have a question.
Yes.
About the tours.
Yes.
So, like, does it look abandoned?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they didn't, like, mock it up for these tours?
No, it's, like, literally abandoned.
Okay.
And, like, the tour is, like, it's not, like, you know, like, we went to, like, Bellamy, and it's, like, made up, and there's, like, a ticket place or whatever.
Yeah.
This is, no. This is, like, you meet this tour guide in the parking lot, and then you walk around an abandoned place.
Oh.
Like, that's exactly what it is. So
is that allowed?
Yeah. Like, I guess it's the
okay.
people who own it. I mean, they have a website and stuff.
Okay.
But, like, most people don't go on a tour. And, like, the tours are only, like, once a day, you know, whatever. I mean, they're not doing tours right now because of COVID. So people just are going there, and they're getting arrested because the police are monitoring it, obviously. So, yeah.
Well, that's fun.
But I do think we should go if we're ever in Kentucky.
I mean, that would be kind of cool, honestly.
It really would be.
But honestly, it does make it even scarier, though, that you're just meeting some guy in the parking lot.
I know. I would almost rather, like, just break in. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
That's funny. But
that's...
Yeah. Creepy. So creepy. I'm glad we don't have to worry about tuberculosis, but now we have to worry about COVID, so.
I know, true. Oh my
One
God.
thing for another, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like I'd rather go to the zoo again.
Wait, yeah. Okay, yeah, no. If I had to choose, I'd rather go to the zoo. Because at least I know I'm going to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and we definitely would see more ghosts at your place, though.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe we just need to go to both.
Yeah.
Juju, write it down. Juju actually is not being good right now. So, he's not in here.
What's he doing?
No, nothing. He's just not in here.
Okay.
I mean, like, he's not being good at his job.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, well.
We should give him a warning.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're going to fire him?
Yeah.
Okay. Juju's now on probation, you guys.
Yeah, he is.
That's funny. Well, anyways, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, please. Go to our Instagram to see some pictures of our stories this week. See the creepy Waverly Hills and maybe see a cute little zoo animal. And Savannah, you better look for your Girl Scout picture because I want to see it. Even if you don't post it on Instagram, me personally, I want to see it. So
okay. Yeah, I definitely had it around here somewhere, like an actual printed picture. Yeah. So I'll have to find that.
Yay. Okay, well, I guess that's all I have for you this week. What about you, Savannah?
Yeah, me too.
Alrighty, well, see you next week.
All right, cue the music.